right, awesome. Everybody, well, thank you so much for joining us here on a Monday as we are leading up to Christmas. As my kids like to remind me, we're 9 days away from Christmas. So, know we're coming up hot on that. So, appreciate you guys investing in your business and spending your time with us. So, today, we're excited to welcome back Josh with Open Window Home Inspections. Josh has done a number of trainings for us in the past, both in person and on Zoom. So we value his input and the dedication to building these connections to help educate our agents. So uh, let me let me get everybody muted here. There we go. Thank you. All right, so today's session, though, specifically is all about navigating those challenging conversations that arise from difficult disclosure issues. So I know a lot of you can relate to that. And these moments may be tough, but they're also opportunities to showcase our expertise as agents and to build trust with our clients. So Josh is here to guide us on how to approach these situations with knowledge, compassion, and professionalism. So with that, let me just kick it over to Josh and let's dive right in.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody that's here today, and everybody that watches this recording as well. I know we're coming into the holidays, so um, you know, hope that everybody stays safe and has a Merry Christmas and New Year's and things like that. So I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. Can we see that? All right. So today we're going to talk about one of the more challenging aspects of real estate transactions, and that's disclosures. Even for home inspectors, it becomes difficult with these disclosures. And sometimes I feel like some realtors may not grasp how to kind of disclose certain things to the buyers or even the sellers, or from the selling side to the buyer side. So with that, we're going to kind of talk through that, give you some guidance on how you can uh, portray these disclosures, and some of them that you could talk with your clients and say, hey, we could do this to help better this transaction. So uh, my goal here today is to help communicate these disclosures effectively, add value to your clients, and handle concerns confidently without creating unnecessary fear. So we'll cover these strategies, obligations, and tools streamline process for you here today. If I'll be talking, I don't have full access to the Zoom screen. So if you have questions, please feel free to speak up. I can't see anybody's hand raised or the chat or anything like that. So if you need to, just chime in. Don't be afraid to interrupt. So let's get started. So discussing disclosures effectively, it can be overwhelming for clients, especially first-time home buyers, um, or even first-time sellers. So the key is to keep the conversation calm and focused, using reassuring solutions-based language instead of alarmist terms. Uh, for example, replace failing or serious concern with neutral phrases like aging or something to evaluate further. So from every issue as an opportunity to clarify and resolve, not as a deal breaker. Always redirect concerns towards actionable steps, like consulting a professional. So here's a good example for you. Instead of HVAC system is failing, and could be costly, you could say the HVAC system is aging and it may benefit to have a review by an HVAC specialist to ensure it runs optimally. So you can kind of see how you shift that, oh my goodness, the HVAC is going to die as soon as I move into this house, to, hey, let's get this checked out and make sure everything is good. And then we can focus on maybe down the road replacing this. So disclosures aren't just about checking the box. They're an opportunity to demonstrate your value. Uh, excuse me, I'm gonna move some things over here. And that's really what you want to do throughout your transactions. And that's what we try to do at Open Windows to provide that value as well. And I talk with our inspectors, and we always explain those mandatory disclosures and how to talk with your clients and things like that. So, but breaking down these disclosures for your clients, explain mandatory disclosures and why they matter. And then you can go a step further by proactively offering guidance on interpreting findings and next steps. So for example, connecting them with specialists, and you can outline their repair options, or suggest credits where appropriate. The goal is to build the trust and make clients feel supported, not overwhelmed. And at Open Window, we are all about honesty. So honest disclosures can save significant time, money, and stress. Being upfront about known issues prevents surprises during negotiation, reduces the risk of deals falling apart, and it avoids costly last-minute repairs. So I think transparency also builds buyer confidence, which can lead to smoother and faster transaction and fewer disputes down the line. So some of the responsibilities, it kind of falls on everybody in that transaction to include the homeowner and the buyer. We have to make sure that they're doing their due diligence by reading through disclosures and understanding them. So I think ensuring transparency through the disclosure process is crucial for protecting everyone. The key is to have clear communication and proactive guidance. So reviewing thoroughly, disclosures should be carefully reviewed, highlight key issues, and address any questions. It's important to focus on the facts and help clients understand the implications without creating unnecessary alarm. And again, maintain transparency. Encourage honesty when sharing known issues. Transparency helps build trust, reduce surprises, and keeps the transaction on track, right? If there are uncertainties, consulting a professional to clarify the issues can provide peace of mind. So if it's a real estate side, obviously you're going to want to go to uh, your broker in charge or your seasoned agents, things like that. If it's more of like a system or a component, leaning on that specialist. So HVAC, you can get with any HVAC company. Um, Almost anything about the home, you should be able to lean on your home inspector. And if not, they should be able to at least point you in the right direction and give you somebody that you can talk to. And then the last thing is you want to be able to focus on solutions. So disclosures don't need to derail a process. Frame them as an opportunity for clarity and resolution. For example, identify roof issue early allows for repair options or negotiation strategies to be explored up front instead of on the back end and worrying about, does the roof have to be replaced or can we just fix this specific area? But by prioritizing open communication and providing actionable next steps, everyone involved can move forward with confidence and clarity. Setting expectations up front is, I think, one of the most effective ways to prevent client stress during the disclosure process. You know, if you come in and you just say, okay, great, you're going to buy a house, it's 25 years old, and you don't say anything about it, most of the time that house is going to have wear and tear. As real estate agents and as a home inspector, we know it's going to have something going on in that house. And it really depends on, did they upkeep that house, things like that. So going into it, you should really normalize the process. Start by explaining that disclosures are standard for every transaction, and their purpose is to provide transparency, not to scare anybody away. Educate them on common issues. walk through typical findings like aging HVACs, small foundation cracks, cosmetic wear and tear, things like that. Help them understand that these are common in most homes and usually manageable. And then again, for example, it's normal for a 20-year-old home to have some wear and tear, or if the home is pre-1980s, it may have lead-based paint. Many of these items can be addressed or negotiated. Again, focus on the solution. So if you're coming with a problem or a disclosure that seems like a problem, emphasize that the goal of the disclosure isn't to find them, but to identify the opportunities for clarity and resolution. If any issues arise, you already have steps in place to address it, whether it's recommending a specialist or negotiating repairs. So by preparing your clients, you reduce their anxiety and keep the process moving smoothly. Again, it seems like the same thing over and over. Clarity, honesty, moving forward smoothly, right? Does it happen like that all the time? Of course not, but we definitely try. So addressing emotional client reactions. We all come across those clients, even some home inspectors and some agents. It just happens. We're human. We're run by emotions. So disclosures can trigger emotional responses very quick, especially when buyers see issues they didn't expect or sellers feel defensive about sharing problems. Our role is to guide the conversation calmly, right? So here's how to keep the conversation calm, productive, and solution focused. Recognize emotional responses as normal reactions and validate their concerns. Acknowledge their feelings without dismissing them. For example, I understand how this feels overwhelming, but this disclosure about whatever issue it may be is helpful because now we can get a professional opinion and understand it fully. And if you listen, that was, it was calm and you came with a solution, try to figure out what the entire problem is and then move forward with whatever needs to be done. And that's kind of like the buyer side. So for the seller side, you can reassure them that transparency reduces liability and builds buyer trust. You can say it's better to disclose this now than risk it derailing negotiations later. But above all, you want to stay calm and neutral. Your tone and demeanor will set the tone for the conversation. Avoid using alarming phrases like serious problem or major issues. Instead, use words like needs attention or something to evaluate further. And a lot of times you'll hear home inspectors speak like that, especially seasoned home inspectors, ones that want to get their point across, but not necessarily scare your client what's going on in the house. And then you can redirect that solution. So shift their focus from actionable next steps, right? Here's an example. So this plumbing concern can be resolved by a licensed plumber, and I have a few trusted professionals we can contact to get this over or get this looked at. So if your home inspector comes in and says, "Oh yeah, there's a huge plumbing leak in the crawl space," that could be the first thing you say. Yes, it's a concern, but this can be resolved by getting somebody in here and fix this right away. Helping clients see the disclosures as manageable rather than deal breakers, that builds that trust and that confidence, right? The goal is to guide them calmly through these conversations while staying focused on solutions. Some common disclosure red flags. And again, we want to address concerns calmly, but certain disclosures like foundation cracks, water intrusion, electrical hazards can sound alarming. And it scares a lot of people. What are the three main areas that people are typically afraid of? Attic, roof, and crawl space, right? And most of those will have some type of water damage, uh, or it has foundation movement, not necessarily cracks or anything, or that are actually foundation structural issues. So that really, once those come up, that really scares your clients. So it has to be, you have to be careful when it comes to those areas. So, but however, if you stay calm and you help clients see these findings as manageable with the right expertise, for each issue, emphasize solutions. Here's what we need to check next, and then suggest specialists who can provide clarity. Frame the findings as opportunities to make informed decisions rather than obstacles. For example, a disclosure about prior water intrusion might mean checking for proper drainage or confirming repairs were effective. You know, do you need to have that that home inspector come back out and verify that those repairs were done right? Uh, excuse me. And then, sorry, I lost my spot here. So by presenting a clear path forward and connecting clients with trusted professionals, you turn potential stress into confidence and keep that transaction moving, again, moving forward smoothly. Anybody have any questions so far? All right. So home inspection disclosures. Clients often misunderstand the purpose of a home inspection. Home inspection disclosures provide a snapshot of the property's condition, but are often misunderstood. It's important to set the right expectations for what these disclosures mean. Explain that not all inspections are created equal. A full inspection provides an overview of the entire property, giving clients a broad understanding of its condition. However, inspectors typically do not dive deeply into specific systems like HVAC or plumbing. They focus on ensuring that these systems are functional at the time of inspection. Specialty inspections, on the other hand, may target specific systems such as HVAC, foundation, which helps deepen that client's priorities. Clarify the purpose. Inspection disclosures aren't pass-fail report. They're a tool for transparency. Encourage the clients to see the findings as opportunities to make informed decisions. For example, the inspector noted wear on the roof shingles, how this can help decide whether the, the repair or replace negotiation when that time comes. How bad is it? Does it just need to be repaired, or is it the entire roof? You're looking at a 3-tab 20-year shingle and you're at 18 years. Navigating uncertainty. If the inspection disclosure highlights unknown conditions, remind your clients that specialists can provide clarity. Issues like outdated systems or visible cracks don't always mean major problems, but deserve further evaluation. So pre-inspections agreements. How many of you have read the pre-inspection agreement that your inspector has your client sign? Probably not too many of you. I would be surprised if you honestly did. And there's nothing against that. They're long, they're boring, and it's just a lot of jargon, right? Pre-inspection agreements outline the scope and the limitations of what an inspector will evaluate. Go through this document with the clients to set clear expectations. I suggest really reaching out to that home inspector that you regularly work with and ask him, can I have a copy of your pre-inspection agreement? That way you can go through it and you already know what you can speak on with your client, especially if they have questions. We get questions all the time, at least once a week, once or twice a week from clients like, hey, what does this mean in this agreement? And pretty amazing how many people will read those. Uh, but I've never been asked by a real estate agent, hey, what does this mean? So go through this document with the clients and, really set that expectation with them. These agreements are often overlooked, but they are crucial for setting proper expectations. Here's how to explain them to your clients so much better. The scope of the inspection. Pre-inspection agreements outline exactly what the inspector will and will not evaluate. These are limited, non-invasive inspections. For example, the inspector won't move furniture or open walls. We know that. Some inspectors will go above and beyond and help move things or ask to move it, and they should if it's easy accessible. But most inspectors are not going to move a couch to, uh, check underneath it or to see if there's air coming out of that that's underneath. And then you have limitations. Many clients assume inspectors cover every system or problem. Clarify exclusions like septic systems, wells, cosmetic issues, and inaccessible areas. And then the purpose. Inspections provide an assessment of the home's current condition. They are not a certification or a pass-fail test. And why does it matter? Reviewing this agreement upfront helps clients understand that some issues may require specialized inspections. Again, HVAC, your foundation, your plumbing, electrical, things like that. Encourage your clients to ask questions about the agreement so there's no confusion later. By discussing these points, you're preventing misunderstandings and ensure that the client's view of the inspection for what it is, an informational tool that helps make informed decisions, right? And I know a lot of agents are against pre-listing inspections, but just hear me out. So pre-listing inspections are one of the most valuable tools for sellers, yet many overlook their benefits. If your seller is opting for no disclosure, a pre-listing inspection can enhance that transparency while minimizing legal exposure. Here's why anyone should encourage sellers to consider them. You can identify issues early. Sellers can uncover and address problems before listings, reducing the buyer's negotiations later. This gives the seller more control over repair cost and timelines. If you're in a 30-day closing and you didn't do a pre-listing before that, and they have a week of due diligence, and they wait for that very last minute. Now you have maybe 2.5 weeks to make those repairs. And if there's big repairs, those could take quite a while. It takes contractors 2 to 3 days, maybe a week to get you a quote. And then what if they're backed up 2 weeks? It's pretty tough. So pre-listings, it builds buyer confidence. A pre-listing inspection shows buyers that the seller is transparent and proactive. It can make the property more attractive and competitive. It streamlines the process, right? By addressing issues up front, sellers reduce the chance of delays, renegotiations, or surprises during the buyer's expectations. No disclosure strategy. For sellers choosing to mark no representation on a disclosure form, a pre-listing inspection provides transparency without exposing them to liability for unknown conditions. As a professional, you can present this as an opportunity to strengthen the transaction and build trust between both parties. And if done right, you can really market the pre-listing inspection and use that as a valuable tool. If you sit down with your home inspector and they can really help you out. You push that marketing side on them, and give you the tools to use. That way, you're not having to implement a whole bunch, it would benefit both the home inspection company and as well as yourself. Let's get into specialized inspections like septic, well, water, and radon and wood destroying insects. These are critical for addressing issues that a general home inspection won't cover. And here's how you can kind of discuss each one with your client. Excuse me. So a septic system, which gets overlooked quite a lot, disclosing past maintenance or repairs is important to reassure buyers that the system is functioning well. If you haven't pumped your tank in 4 or 5 years, it's probably about time, unless you're the only one living in the house. Then it could probably go for another year or so. But still, being able to show, hey, we had this pump 2 years ago, and we had it looked at and everything like that. It just shows that you care about your property and what the systems on that property. Well water, highlight the importance of water quality tests to ensure safety and reliability. Uh, if you do any type of real estate down in Fayetteville, you really have to think about that Gen X, Uh, if you're out in a rural area and you have farms around a house, that's something to consider. Uh, a lot of farms, you'll get the E. coli and stuff like that. And really cleaning out a well is pretty simple. Takes about a day to do, and then you can turn around and test it a day or so later. Radon testing. Everybody should know about radon testing, especially in the Raleigh area. It's in pockets throughout, but definitely should be brought up and talked about, like why they should consider doing a radon test. And then again, wood destroying insects. Uh, so your termites, your carpenter ants, your bees, and things like that. And they can cause structural damage over time. So disclosing that a treatment or a quarterly service is done can help build trust during the selling transaction. As a buyer, you should definitely consider having that taken looked at, by any pest company. So by proactively recommending these inspections when they apply, you demonstrate diligence, reduce surprises, and protect both buyers and sellers from potential liabilities. Collaboration is the key to navigating disclosures effectively. Working with trusted inspectors, contractors, and specialists can provide clarity and solutions for disclosed issues. For example, if a disclosure highlights water damage, consult a contractor ensures buyers know the extent of the repairs needed, or they understand the extent of the repairs that have been done. For septic well or radon concerns, specialists can provide detailed evaluations that go beyond standard inspections. Really, by building a network of reliable professionals, you add value to your role and demonstrate proactive approach. This reassures clients and fosters trust through the transaction process. Transparency is a foundation of a successful transaction. Home inspectors and any of your vendors should really be transparent about everything. And by guiding your clients through disclosures with honest and clarity, you build trust in that confidence in the process. So remind your clients that disclosures are tools for making informed decisions and not reasons to panic. You should always position yourself as a resource by explaining findings calmly and suggest actionable next steps. And then highlight how proactive transparency reduces surprises and creates smoother negotiations. When clients see you as a trusted guide, they're more likely to view the process positively and feel more empowered to move forward. And then at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? So really, this was a short one for me. Thank you all for engaging in this discussion about disclosures. My goal was to provide actionable strategies to help you manage these conversations confidently and professionally. If you have any questions about specific situations or strategies, we can discuss that now. But remember, disclosures are not obstacles, they're opportunities to build trust and value with your clients, your vendors, and make relationships out of it. So let's continue to work together to make disclosures process smooth, transparent, and stress-free for everyone. Thank you. Anybody have any questions or anything? I'm gonna stop my share here. Go.
No questions, but thank you for sharing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's all I have. I don't know if Brian hopped is going to hop back on or not.
Thank you.
I think absolutely. No, you all take care. Thank you very much. I think Brian will be hopping back on here in a minute. Happy holidays. Take care.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Take care.
Thank you.